The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. What Stephen Hawking was really saying is that the most dangerous thing isn't not knowing, it's believing you already know everything. Ignorance can be fixed by learning, but arrogance blocks the mind entirely. When we stop questioning, we stop evolving. Hawking lived in the realm of uncertainty, where every answer led to another mystery. He was reminding us that true wisdom comes from curiosity, not certainty. The illusion of knowledge blinds us to the beauty of discovery. Every time we assume we've reached the end of understanding, the universe simply expands beyond our vision. What he wanted was not a world full of experts, but a world full of explorers, people humble enough to keep asking, what if? Quiet people have the loudest minds. This line isn't just about introversion. It's about the silent power of deep thought. Stephen Hawking's own voice came through a machine, yet his ideas echoed through the cosmos. He understood that silence isn't emptiness. It's space, the kind where galaxies of thought can grow undisturbed. We live in a time where everyone wants to speak, but few want to think. Hawking reminds us that some of the most profound ideas are born in quiet minds, not in loud rooms. Those who listen more than they talk often understand more than anyone else. The loudest minds aren't noisy, they're full. They create universes while the world is distracted by its own chatter. In stillness, genius finds its form, and in silence, thought becomes infinite. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. For Hawking, this was not a theory, it was survival. At 21, he was told he would not live long, that his body would betray him. But he refused to collapse under fate. Instead, he adapted. He redefined intelligence not as knowledge or logic, but as flexibility, the ability to bend without breaking. True intelligence is not about resisting change, but embracing it. It's about transforming adversity into innovation. Hawking turned limitations into tools. His wheelchair became his spacecraft. His voice synthesizer became his megaphone to the stars. Through him, the world learned that adaptation is evolution in motion. He was telling us that intelligence isn't measured by IQ, but by how we face life when it changes beyond our control. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. This quote feels simple, but it holds an entire philosophy. Hawking was saying that we are consumed by the small things, deadlines, screens, worries, yet we forget to look up and see that we're floating in a universe of endless beauty. To look up is to remember perspective. It's to realize that the same atoms that form the stars also form us. When we look down, we see our problems. When we look up, we see our possibilities. He wanted us to rediscover awe, the childlike wonder that fuels imagination. Looking up doesn't solve your problems, but it reminds you how small they are compared to the vastness that made you. It's not astronomy, it's humility. However difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Hawking didn't say this from comfort. He said it from confinement. Every breath was work. Every word was effort. Yet his life was proof that the mind can soar even when the body cannot. His message was that meaning is always available to those who seek it. Success doesn't have to mean fame or power. It can mean creation, discovery, kindness, or persistence. There is always something you can do, even when the world tells you there isn't. Hawking's life is the ultimate evidence that ability isn't what defines you, determination is. He turned every limitation into an instrument for expression. What he was truly saying is that purpose doesn't disappear in difficulty, it reveals itself there. My expectations were reduced to zero when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bonus. Most people fear losing everything, but Hawking found peace in it. When his expectations vanished, he discovered freedom. He learned that when you stop demanding from life, you begin appreciating it. Gratitude, he believed, was not the result of abundance. It was the acceptance of reality. To expect nothing is not to give up, but to remove disappointment's power. Every sunrise, every conversation, every new idea became a miracle. Hawking was teaching us that the secret to happiness is not control, but surrender. Life becomes lighter when you stop measuring it against what it should be. When you have no expectations, everything that happens feels like a gift. Life would be tragic if it weren't funny. For a man trapped in a failing body, humor was not an escape, it was a weapon. Hawking used laughter to disarm despair. He understood that the universe can be cruel, unpredictable, absurd, but that absurdity is exactly what makes it beautiful. Humor is how the human spirit refuses to be broken. By laughing at the impossible, we take back control from chaos. Hawking was reminding us that joy is a rebellion against tragedy. Life will always have pain, but it's laughter that gives pain its proper size. To find humor in hardship isn't denial, it's intelligence at its most human form. People who boast about their IQ are losers. This line cuts straight through ego. Hawking's point was never to glorify intelligence, it was to humanize it. He saw how easily pride blinds people who believe they're smarter than others. True brilliance, he said, is humble because it understands the vastness of what remains unknown. The more you know, the more aware you become of your own limits. When people boast, they stop learning. Hawking reminds us that arrogance is the death of intellect. Real intelligence seeks understanding, not validation. He wanted a world where thinkers are curious, not superior, where knowledge is shared, not flaunted. The smartest person in the room is the one still asking questions. Be curious. Two simple words, but they defined his entire existence. Curiosity was Hawking's heartbeat. It's what kept him alive long after doctors gave up on him. He believed curiosity is the spark that keeps humanity from stagnation. To be curious is to be alive, to constantly seek, explore, and wonder. Hawking's message here is not just for scientists, it's for everyone. You don't need a telescope to be curious, you just need attention. Ask questions, observe patterns, explore ideas. The moment you lose curiosity, you start to decay, no matter your age or success. Curiosity is not about finding answers, it's about never losing the hunger to look for them. Nothing is better than reading and gaining more and more knowledge. This was Hawking's final truth, that knowledge is both a tool and a treasure. Reading was his way of traveling the universe without moving an inch. He saw books as doorways to infinity, each one expanding the boundaries of what we can imagine. His message was that learning isn't a phase of life, it's the essence of being alive. Knowledge humbles you, transforms you, and reminds you that growth never ends. The moment you stop learning, you start shrinking. To Hawking, knowledge was light, and the pursuit of it, the greatest adventure available to the human mind. All of these thoughts form one message, Hawking's real theory of everything. He was teaching us that curiosity keeps us alive, adaptability makes us intelligent, humor makes us human, and humility keeps us searching. He showed us that even when the body fails, the mind can roam across galaxies. His life was not just a study of the universe, it was proof that the universe exists within us, reflected in our questions, our laughter, and our resilience. The next time you feel small, remember his voice. Look up at the stars and realize that the same light that burns in them burns in you.